Okay, it's recording now.
Damn crap.
Maybe I should do this. Should turn around.
Hello, my name is Daniel McKillop, and tonight we'll be talking about knife care. My topic tonight is about proper care, maintenance, and storage of your cutting utensils in your kitchen. The reason why I'm doing this is to explain the importance of properly caring, maintaining, and sharpening your kitchen utensils to get the maximum amount of life out of your kitchen tools. Have you ever tried to cut a tomato with a dull knife? Well, I've tried it many times, and I kind of like to compare it to cutting leather with a butter knife. It really doesn't work. You may cut it eventually, but the most thing you're going to end up cutting is yourself or something else besides the tomato when you're trying to cut with a dull knife. So the important here is keeping your knife sharp. The second thing is proper storage of your knives. After your knife is sharpened, you want to store it properly. And the third is maintaining your knife edge sharpness. By following these three principles of maintaining, sharpening, and properly storing your knives, you will benefit by being able to cut faster. You'll save money in the long run by not having to buy lots of knives because you let them go dull and you have to buy new ones. And you'll also save your fingertips. So how does a knife get dull? Edgecraft.com is an online retailer and a crafter of fine knifeware. They state that the edge of a knife is actually super thin, and I'll use a paper to kind of describe what they say. The edge of a knife is super thin. It's microscopic actually, and it is much thinner than even a human hair. And what happens was when you cut, basically you start off with a nice straight edge and it provides a cut. And what happens over time, your edge starts to bend. So now you're not cutting with the leading edge, and as it bends and bends and bends, after a while you let it just keep getting dull. It'll just be cutting on a rounded edge. So basically what you're trying to do is keep your edge straight. A knife's edge is strong, but because it's so thin it tends to fold over. When a knife dulls like that, it becomes hard because you have to apply excess pressure to the surface that you're cutting on. So let's say a tomato, for instance, when your knife is dull, you're trying to cut it, you have to sit there and saw and saw and saw. When you're sawing, it's easier to cut your fingers than it is the tomato. Even though you will have a difficult time cutting produce and vegetables and such with a knife, it's still really easy to cut your skin because of the leading edge is not the actual sharp edge. So when you're cutting and you slip, you're cutting at an angle, which is actually where the sharpness of the edge is. So that's why you tend to cut your fingers by nicking them, and it creates a nasty cut when the knife isn't sharp. Before we move on to sharpening, I'd like to talk a little bit about storage, properly storing your knives. The importance of properly storing your knives is you don't want to A, cut yourself by reaching for a knife, and B, you want to maintain the knife's edge, so you need to protect that edge. There's a laundry list of storage devices available out there. I've brought a few here tonight. We have edge guards. They come in multiple shapes and sizes. They basically slip over a knife's edge. Slip it in. That's an edge guard. These are little drawer caddies. Your knife just fits in the slots. Blade down, got a nice rubberized surface that doesn't dull your blade. It actually will cut through this before your blade. And then you have your basic kitchen block. Slots cut in for each of your knives. The wood is softer than the metal, so it'll help your blade stay sharp longer. Because there's so many to choose from, as you've shown here, it's best to pick one that fits into your price range. Because there's so many different styles, shapes, variations. The best thing to do is just get the one that fits right into your kitchen. If you want it in a drawer, if you want it on the counter, however you want to show your knives, present them, is the best way to go for that. Once you pick the right device for your storage, the next thing is maintaining the sharpness of your blade. This is done from the factory, from new, with what they call a sharpening steel. Basically all it does is, like I discussed with the rounded edge earlier, takes your rounded edge and you run it over the steel and it brings your edge back straight. After you do that for a while, your edge will seem to no longer cut as well as it did, or hold an edge as well as it did. And that's because as you bend it and bend it and bend it, you keep bending it back and forth, eventually that will break. So what you need to do is you need to have a professional come, or take it to a professional and have them hone you a new edge. Some homemakers can do that themselves, but I do recommend having a professional do it, so you don't diminish the quality of your blade by adding excess heat. A knife that is maintained properly is an invaluable asset to any kitchen. Basically, a knife is a tool maintained properly, can contribute to the ease of food preparation, and you'll get a lot better life out of it if you maintain it properly. Remember to keep your knife sharp, because a slice of tomato is much better than a slice of your finger. Thank you very much and have a good night.
7 minutes.